Okay, so we'll do now the fourth Mamer in the Parshas Hazinu, the Mamer Knesher Ya'ir Kinei. Okay, so he brings down the pasuk over here, Knesher Ya'ir Kinei, Al Gozolov Yirachiv, that talking about how Hashem is the protection of the Jewish people, it says it's like an eagle who wakes up his nest, and Al Goizolov Yirachiv, he hovers over those little the little birds, his birds, and Yifres Knofov Yikocheyu Yisrael Levrosi. So he spreads out his wings and he takes him and he carries them on his wings, he carries them away. So this is talking about Hashem. Who is the what is the marshal here of Knesher Ya'ir Kinei? So first the Rebbe brings down the parentheses that Pasuk Zeh, Huva B'Yerushalmi, Perik Beis the Chagiga, and also in the Zohar Chelik Beis and the Yisrei Parshas Boy, and Bahaloischa and Kufn Dalad Omed Beis, and in Pinchas Reish Lamed Gimel Aleph and Reish Lamed Ches Beis and Hazinu Dafresh Tzadi Ches Beis. Okay, so he's saying that this idea of Knesher Ya'ir Kinei follows the psukim that preceded. In a maksivli ilmenei, what says before the pasuk that he raises you like a nesher, like an eagle? What says before? It says Yimtzayu be'eretz midbar, that you find them in the midbar. Basically, Pashtus means the Yidden were in the midbar. That's where Hashem found them, gave them the Torah, was in the midbar. But in this idea, the Alter Rebbe wants to explain that Hashem sometimes finds a Yid being in the midbar, and the Eibishter raises him. And this goes on the pasuk that precedes before him saying midbar, before him say Beretz midbar. Over there we say that the Amos and the Yidden are a part of Hashem. That means before the neshama comes down lamata, it's a portion of Hashem. And then that portion of Hashem is Yimtzayu be'eretz midbar. It comes in the midbar, it goes down in a goof, it goes down in a body. Sheneshamas Yisrael hem chelik kamimah. The neshamas of the Yidden are a part of Hashem above. And that part, the part that is godly, mimal, Hashem finds it be'eretz midbar. It's in a midbar, that part of Hashem. And the godliness of the Hashem is the midbar, in the guf. Kina chelik hu mebchinas havaya. Chelik havaya. What means chelik is havaya? What does it mean havaya? Shu mahave kol ha'olamas v'haviyis. He creates all worlds and all happenings, everything that is brought into being. And he was, is, and will be. So that's a little havaya. And it descends to dress up in a body, which is present but then is lost. It doesn't last. So that's the descent of the neshama in the guf. So when the person follows, is drawn after the body, which is present and then is lost, so then he finds himself in a desolate, in a desert, a land of a desert, and desolate, there's nothing there, which is the opposite of Havaya. Havaya creates, and now he's down into the midbar. Knesher Ya'ir Kinei is just like the eagle that he raises his wakes up his can. The madregas hanesher shu midas rachmanos. So then it's talking about the levels of the eagle, which is the attribute of rachmanos, which is compassion. That's why we talk about when the eagle wakes up his kids, he doesn't go, he hovers over them and he protects them. So there is the level of Rachmanis, which we have, the Eibishter has to help us out in our predicament, in the fact that we are in the body and we're being drawn up to the body. So what is the idea? In the Merkavas Yecheskel, it says that when Yecheskel saw the vision of the Merkava, he saw over there that the face of a lion was to the right. There were the four different animals, or the four different, the Mus Arbat, there were four creations, and one of them was the face of a lion. That was to the right. And the other one was the face, Upnei Shoyer, Mahasmoil, the face of the ox was on the left. And then it says, Upnei Nesher, Larbato, and also there was the face of an eagle to all four of them. So this vision that he saw the Merkava in a way of a lion, and the way of an ox, the way of a eagle, these are all the Rebbe is going to explain, the Rebbe is going to explain, in the level of Golus, they represent that the descent of the Kedusha, of the Ya'ir of Hashem, goes through the various different restrictions and contraction, goes through Pnei Ari, Pnei Shoyer. That's in the time of Golus. In the time of the Beis Hamikdash, when things were on a higher level, doesn't come through these various different restrictions through the Pnei Ari. See, to explain this idea, Sheyecheskel Ro Hamerkava Bizman HaGolus. Yecheskel saw the chariot during the time of Golus. The Golu Lebavel, which means even though they are in Golus, there is still the Shechina with them. So we have the Merkava, we have the Shechina over here. But the Pasuk says that where was Yecheskel? In the beginning over there, in the beginning of Yecheskel, beginning of the Merkava, the vision, he starts off, he's saying, so that he was Batsam in the Goyla at the time. The Fikoch, that's why he saw it in the dressing up, in the Pnei Ari and the Pnei Sher. This that he saw Pnei Ari Pnei Sher was because he was B'tech HaGoyla. But during the time that Beis Hamikdash existed, then the revelation of the Shechina was on a higher level. Like the revelation to all Yidden was when the Torah was given. So over there it didn't come through Pnei Ari Pnei Sher. Over there it says, Hashem talked to you face to face, which means there were no intermediaries. There was no Pnei Sher, Pnei Ari. It was directly face Pirush. Ponim beponim. What is ponim ponim? There was no intermediary. It didn't dress up in anything. It was direct from the Kedusha, from Hashem. We got it. And that's why it's written, that all of the people, they can see the voices. Seeing the voices, why normally we can't see, or voices you can only hear, and visions you can only see. But over there is because there were no partitions, there was no separation, it was direct, so there was no chilukim, so it can be you can see that was normally heard, and you can hear what is normally seen. Why? There was a revelation of godliness without an interruption of many levels. It was direct. people saw the general energy, vitality, and the flow of godliness. And there was, God forbid, there was no difference between seeing and hearing. Everything was the same. You can see what is heard and you can hear what is normally seen. As opposed to in the Golus, over there we have the Markovas Yecheskel. Over there we have the Ilu Hashchina Yecheskel. Over there, the revelation of the divine to Yecheskel came through the dividing up of the different madregas. When it dresses up the face of the line, the face of the Akhul. Take my example. Tinek sheyochel lahovin beyoser lamdim oisoi. Af. What does it say? Lamdim oisoi. Is this ois? What is the aleph? It's a
It just beyoser madin oiso daf aleph oi.
Daf, right?
Daf, yes.
Daf. That means a page. So you teach him one page. You can teach him a page or more at once. As Shiochel Haskell, the word is biyachid there? Shiochel Haskell?
Lahaskell biyochad.
Biyachid?
Biyochid, yes.
Not biyachad. Biyachid.
What do you mean biyachad? The same letter.
Beis Yud Ches Yud Daled, right?
No, there are no second Yud. Only one Yud.
So it is biyachad. Okay. Okay. Shiochel Haskell. It's just by my copy, it has some mistakes. I'm just trying to verify what it is. That he's able to chap all together at once. So that's why you have you give it together. You don't have to Mashenke, if he's a smart guy, you can teach him many pages at once. As opposed to one who doesn't have the ability in his seichel to learn so much at once. So then, then you teach him a little bit at a time. Chapters. Calls Manshoy Beis Mikdash Kain during the Matan Torah, and as long as the Beis Mikdash was in existence, the Yidden war, the souls of Israel were on a high level. So the power of their grasping the revelation of godliness, they knew the general chayes. It didn't come out through a detail, through a partition. It came the general chayes, shaloi al yidei mutsoyim, not through intermediate, not through shoyer, not the aryeh. It came directly in one way. I am asher kosu b'divrei Haskell as Yoshir Yisrael. Avu b'golus, what an exile! Shagolu, that they were exiled in the slabshu ba'ayin sori, and they were dressed up in the ayin sori. Inei gam gilu hashchina hu al yidei yirida b'bchinas ischalkus ribu hamadreges. So also the revelation of the Shechina is through the descent in the partition to the very many levels. We slap shusam, and they dress up b'bchinas pnei aryeh pnei shoyer, the level of pnei aryeh pnei shoyer. So that goes up. What is Pnei Aryeh? So Pnei Aryeh, which is more than just the Pnei Aryeh, that's Machne Mechoil. That refers to the camp of Mechoil. Sheheim Keneged Machne Reuven Timona. Machne Mechoil is like, they correspond to the camp of Reuven that was to the south, which is Pnei Aryeh and Hayemin. That's the same as Machne Mechoil, which is Machne Reuven. and all those that turned to Machne Reuven, they were to the right. That corresponds to Machne Mechor. So Cain, Kach Yesh Kamo, Ribu Rivovas Machne Mechor. So we have 10,000 in the camp of Mechor, which is Shehem, Kamo Madreges Chalukis, Zumizu. There are many different steps, one from another. Masha Behem Val Yodom, in them and through them, Shefa Lekis Leneshama, and that gives the flow of godliness through all these malachim, because these are not just one; it's the whole camp of Mechoel. So we don't say we have the Pnei Aryeh, but Pnei Aryeh includes the Machne Mechoel with all the other malachim and all the various different camps that are there. Shem Kama Madrekis Chalukis Umezushaval Yodom, that in them and through these malachim is Shefa Lekis L'Neshama. That is, they get the flow, which is the Shefa Lebayodim Shefa, which is Shefa Halikis, the godly flow Neshama. What is it? What is the Shefa the Neshama gets? Is Madregas Ahavo Shanashamas Makabelas Al Dei Malach. That's the level of love that the Neshama receives, which goes through the Malach. Kidiksi, like the Pasuk says, Ki Malachov Yitzavaloch Lishmorcho B'chol Drochecho Al Kapayim Yisouncho. What does it mean, the Pasuk? The Malachim, he commands to guard you in all your ways. And they raise your kapayim on their hands. Basically, the malachim are the ones that give you the flow. Pirush. And he is telling them, they give you the flow. And they raise you. And they raise you, which means, shal yidehem misnasis u'misalis haneshama. And that's the way the neshama is raised through them. Al yidei pnei aryeh, through this face of the aryeh, which is yamin. That's madreges ha'ava, madreges ha'ava. So through, again, al yidei pnei aryeh, through the pnei aryeh, you get the madreges haneshama. And when you have al yidei pnei shoyer, you get the madreges ha'ira. Ba'ayin al posuk K'maloch v'yitzavaloch Chagiga Tazayin Aleph and Tainis Yud Aleph and Sanhedrin Kuf Gimel Aleph and Rabbis Vayishlach Reish Pedig Reish Parsha Ein Ches V'Soi Parsha Mishpatim Zer Chelik Aleph Yud Beis Aleph and Kuf Samachei Beis and Chelik Beis in the Zohar Mem Aleph Omed Beis, and in Chelik Gimel it's Reish Tzadik Zayin. What is it? Beis Dalet? Reish Tzadik Zayin.
Beis the photo no, the Beis
Reish Tzadik Zayin what?
Beis approach.
I'm sorry.
There are not no.
Is Reish Tzadik Zayin? What is follows the word Reish Tzadik Zayin?
Only base with apostrophes.
Okay, only base. Okay. Uposik al kapayim. Okay. No base. Uposik al kapayim. Chelik Aleph Chav Zayin base. That of that tiknu Chazal brocha shelifnei kriyishma. That is the also on this thing the Chazal instituted blessing before kriyishma. Yitzer mishorsim vashem mishorso. We do these brachas of Yitzer and Hashem Shosam Kulam Eindu Kulu Befanim Chayisa Kodesh Berash Godel Misnas Im Dumas Asrof Kulu. So these are all the various different kinds of allusions to the Malachim too, because they're the Mashpim. Shemezem Kabel Ha'odom Midas Hayira. That's the way the person gets Midas Hayira. So this whole thing, the brachas and everything else was instituted by the Anshe Knesset Agdola after the destruction of the Meis Hamikdash. Mashenkein, we didn't need this before because the Hamshocha didn't come through that way. Mashenkein, Midairaisa, and not just the mitzvah of Kriya Shema, Sagim Kriya Shema Levad. That will be sufficient just with the Shema. Hainu k'moi shehoyi b'moi Moshe shenimshach ha'oir v'hashefa l'Yisrael, that the light and the flow was nimshach ha'idei hashchina ba'atzmo shelo ha'idei ha'malochim, that came through the Shechina itself, not through the angels. Sharei Moshe lo yirotza b'shlichus malach. Moshe didn't want that it should come through an angel. He wanted directly from Hashem. The pasuk says, if you're not going to go yourself, he didn't want an intermediary. He didn't want the malachim. So those of the avodah, so they didn't need to be makabel avira through the malachim. It wasn't the Kimaloch of Yitzavaloch, and it wasn't Akpaim Suncha through the Malachim, through the Psuke de Zimra that precedes the Shema, we just did the Shema. Aval Achaka, Kivon Shutzchul Kabel Idei Pnei, Ari Pnei Shoir, since they needed the Ari Pnei Shoir, Vafila be Yeshua, Omer Le Hamalach Atobosi. So this is even by Yeshua. The Malach says, Atobosi, in other words, it comes now through a Malach. Okay, in other words, it was no more like it was in the times of Moshe Rabbeinu. Okay, so we don't have a choice. So how do we go? We need the two brachas before Shema. Over there it says, Malachim al stand the Yira. That's a person also gets out of Yira. I'm Ashakosov. Dibra Maschil Kiseitse, the saved the Maschil of Ari Kabokor, Yochal Teb. Okay. All right, let's leave it over here. Over here, the